Okay. Uh, I think you are. My screen is visible and I am audible, right? Today we'll talk more important things today. Okay, let's continue. The others might join, or maybe they might be of an opinion. If I am not recovered or something, it's fine. Not a problem. We might again give a retry on Monday, a quick recap on Monday to cover what we discussed today, if others might join. Okay. So this is fine for us. I'll share those recordings today, Kishore. With probably I'll try to share all that. Okay,
Yes, Manaram. Okay.
right, no problem. So uh, I believe in the last session, what we are doing is we are talking about all this because I just kept here just to make sure we don't follow we don't miss this thing. So we try to understood how to set up Eclipse, and then also we try to understand what is that. How to create this Chrome options, WebDriver Manager, WebDriver, and also we try to test our all this Eclipse setup, and we are able to automate a simple process of web browser automation. We did all that in the last couple of sessions, okay, and then we also just got an opportunity to get introduced to this XPath actually, like how to find suppose if you have a website here like Google, something like this, how to automate these web elements, right? Web elements means something like Google, Gmail, something like images, something like this logos or this search box or this buttons, this Google search button or I'm feeling like a button, all these languages, these are all web elements we had discussed. And if you right click on any web element and you say inspect, this is what we have discussed. You can see automatically it opens all that HTML thing. And this Google thing, when we say inspect, you can see the block of code that represents this Google web element, right? So the understanding this a little bit of HTML is important here, and based on these web elements, what we do, this code inside web elements, we try to create what we say XPath. So suppose if when you are automating your web browser, if you want to automate your Gmail, suppose it should automatically come to this web element and click on it, and then it should bring in a inbox page. I mean sign in page. Okay, our sign up page. If that's when I click on this, you can see here it's bringing in this one, something like it's moving to the next page. So if that should happen, what is that? So here in the automation, we should identify that tag here, and then we should mention that in the code. And to identify these web elements and to automate it in the code, for each web element, we have an address. And to identify that address, we use something called XPath in the program. So we have seen that, I have explained that. And if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can go through that our previous recording and try to understand that. I'll share it probably today itself. And I'll explain more things today. So now there are a couple of things you need to understand. In the last class, we had discussed till this, and in today's session, what we do is we try to understand, like XPath and CSS selector, all that. Okay, we'll get a more deeper idea about all this and locators. What are the locators? What is CSS selector? How to write it? What is XPath? How to write it? In today's session, we try to understand all this, right? So now, first thing is about understanding locators. So now here, if you see here, friends, okay. So let me just show you. I'll go slowly. If you have any doubts, just ping me in the chat box, or you can just ask me to explain again, understand until you get a clear picture. So understanding this part is very important when doing while doing automation. So XPath is something very crucial. You might expect if many interview questions on XPath as well. People ask a lot of interview questions on XPath, like how to create XPaths and what all elements are, I mean, what all methods are applied on XPath, all that people ask you. Okay. So now let's just get a quick idea. See here in this HTML code, you see this right side part when we right click on anything, when we say inspect, it will take us to the HTML code behind this web page. You know, right? How people create web pages? People create web pages using HTML code, HTML, CSS. They apply multiple things to create a web page. And the core thing for anything is HTML. And on top of this, people apply CSS, right? On top of that, they might add many more things like that. That is fine. So that is one thing. HTML is so simple. Many people easily, even school children will play with HTML. Just understand how simple it is. I'm just making you easy, like, giving you a simple idea, like, it is not difficult to understand or difficult to apply. That is clear. Next one, identifying these addresses and creating XPath. XPath is something which is very much used in the automation to identify the address of web elements. I'm going very slowly so that you can understand it without confusion. Again, I'm repeating. For each web element, there will be a unique address. Suppose see here, Google. So now when I right click on this, I think it has gone to that sign in page. We don't need sign in. Let's go back. I think this is or type Google here. We don't need sign in form. We need just that Google thing only. Now you can see here. So this is the how we need to locate this or identify this at Google Gmail from the this from this one, friends, which is that HTML. To identify that, we use XPath. How do we identify? Simple, right? So we simply say something like, this is an anchor tag, something like, see, based on this tag, start of tag, see here, friends, you can see here, based on start of tag. If it starts with A, you should say double slash. How do you create this XPath means apply double slash that represents start of your XPath. And then how to choose tags. See, there are multiple, this elements to identify this Gmail. You can see here, it starts with tag A. That's why I am adding A here. Got it, friends? And then A, and after that, what we have to do? A up. I think that's what it is, right? Let me just see here if I am going in a, just checking the syntax for that. We can see here, no problem, the code. Yes, A of, you can see here, something like now what you should do, I'm just giving a double slash represents you are starting XPath. Second thing, A represents, it's not like we should apply A for every tag here. Why we choose A here, understand this carefully, because this, this Google, whatever we choose here in the web page, it has an anchor tag here. It is starting with it is associated with an anchor tag. A tag means anchor. So that I just mentioned A, and then now I should find out Google, Gmail, sorry, Gmail. Then it is a text, right? What should I say here? Open square bracket. Now you are searching for text here, text equal to, in single quote or double quote, you choose what, friends? Simply say Gmail. You can say simply Gmail and then close the text here. Of course, copy this, Control C and that search, and then you apply here. Now, when you see here and when you click on this, you can see when I say, when I created an XPath here tag, and then when I just enter here, you can see this got highlighted in the yellow here. Means what? This XPath is recognizing this particular Gmail thing, Gmail text here. So I think you are clear on this, right? This is how we should create XPath. I mean, your XPath code, friends. Is that clear now? XPath tags, otherwise you can call it as XPath tag or XPath code. You can name it anything of your choice. But the point is simple. How to create an XPath here and what is an XPath? Right now you can answer this question, sir. We have many web elements in a web page. to locate or identify each web element, they have some address. To identify this address or to locate this web elements in your web page. So we use this a special kind of tags here called XPath tags. XPaths helps us to identify your web elements in the web page among group of elements. And how do you create XPath? We should say something slash slash which represents start of your XPath, and then the tag that is mentioned here, whether it is anchor tag or input tag, there will be multiple HTML tags, right? So that you have to mention. See this Gmail, I am trying to automate Gmail, this one. Okay, this web element Gmail. So then what should I do? When I come here, I found out this is an anchor tag. So I choose A. So my tag starts with A. So I'm mentioning A. And then inside that start square bracket and search for text Gmail. So that's why I choose a text method here and then assigning a text Gmail here. Whatever that is there here, I am assigning here. And when I just created it, and then when I searched it, automatically you can find uh, here even when we enter. So how many web elements it is showing here? If you see here at the right side, one of one, it is showing us one web element here. Suppose likewise, I think this is clear, right? This is one way of, this is for creating an XPath for what, friends? For identifying the web element Gmail. This is scenario one. Okay, let us take it as a scenario one. Okay, is that clear for you, friends? I mean, to all of you, just please confirm, like Kishore or Shankar or Santoshi or Harika. Is that clear for all of you? Able to understand? You can type in the chat box, please. Right, good. So now after that, this is one thing. Let me just update that here. One way of finding out a web element or as checking your web element. This is how you do. Second thing, similarly, you come here to the this one. Now so you click on this. Now we have verified for web element Gmail how to create an XPath and locate Gmail. Now again, right click. Let us try for a Google search button. Right click here, very simple, and then inspect. Understanding this important code you can write later. First, get a clear idea, like what is XPath and how to create this XPath tags, because you cannot by heart these things. Tomorrow, when you are automating, if it is one two, it's fine. Websites have like hundreds of tags, and if you just by heart and if you just have a static idea, it is not going to help you. And this HTML is so simple. So you have to improve that dynamic understanding of these tags so that you can easily create this XPath. Now what do you do? Come here, right click on that web element. Now we are trying to locate this Google search button. Let's see how do we locate it. Come here, right click on this and the inspect. Now you can see here, you can remove this now, Gmail thing. Now what is that here? It came to the Google search button. See here, friends. So Google search, after that you have I am feeling lucky button. So you can see now what is this? This tag changed now. Earlier, to identify web element Gmail, we have anchor tag, but this time this is a button, right? So button means it is accepting some input. So that's why it is shown as input tag to us. You can see it is shown as what, friends? This is shown as input tag. Now what is that you should do? How do you create now? Just a quick idea. You can see here in the search also, see friends, find by string selector or XPath. So if you there are hundreds of tags, among these tags, which is your Google search button, and to identify, suppose you don't know how to check it, then there is a search option to search it. Now how do you search it? You can see here when we talk about this one. Okay, let me copy this first, just to show you, like to give you a deeper insight about this one now, so that you don't, it's easy for you to follow. Let me put it in the notepad more than this one. So what is this here? This is a tag. Understand this. You need to get a clear idea. We'll slowly check one by one. So for any web element, they are associated with certain tags, either a tag, anchor tag, or something like, maybe let me put that one also, so that it's easy for you to understand the concept of XPath. I'm going very slow. This is like, so that anyone who are just starting here can easily copy. We need to copy this. Copy, yes, copy. You should say copy element. Our outer HTML means it copies the whole part. Now we just need to copy this. So now we just took two different web elements. This is the Gmail, which is an web element, and this is represented with the anchor tag. So likewise, this HTML has different tags. Okay. So, and second thing is for button, it is input tag. Now here inside this, there are multiple things. Again, each tag, has multiple attributes. What are that? This class is an attribute, value is an attribute, and then area label is an attribute, and then name is an attribute, role is an attribute, tab index is an attribute. I think you might be clear by now. So point is simple here. When you are creating XPath, you need to understand all this. What is that? One, you should understand types of tags you have in HTML. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is now so based on this, when you inspect, just understand. You don't need to have any knowledge. When you right click and see where with what tag it's starting slash this A. When it starts with A, it is an anchor tag. Just remember. Okay, this anchor tag have certain attributes. That is fine. So second thing, suppose if you try to inspect button, what is that? It is showing input tag, right? So identifying types of tags is very important to create an XPath. So that is one thing, right? Second thing. So when you identify that, how to create your XPath, see here, simple, right? You should start with double slash. Suppose you have to locate this Gmail, then you should say your tag starts with this. So put A here. Is that clear? Then apply square bracket. Then what is that you should do now? You should search for text Gmail. So in this, say text equal to, in double quotes or single quotes, you say Gmail. So this is how you should create a simple XPath to locate which one, friends, this web element Gmail. That is fine. Maybe for the second time, okay, I just shown you this Google search button and asked you to create an XPath to locate Google search. Then in the second time, suppose you don't have any idea. You might be thinking, generally, if we are from software, right? What we think, if we copy and paste it like this. Now, simple, what's there in that? It's simple. I don't have a big problem. So what I think, if I am very new, just copy paste it. Don't change A, right? So my understanding is what now? So instead of Gmail, if I copy Google search and replace Gmail, my job is done. We might be thinking if you are doing it for first time. Then what is that? Will this work here, friends? If I choose A tag, this XPath starts with A and you are searching for text Google search, that is fine. Internal part is fine. But here, if as per our understanding in software, we generally, if you are automating a similar kind of web elements, we try to copy this XPath tags and paste it and just modify this. Here the change I should do is, my understanding is, instead of Google Gmail, let me put Google search, that then it will automatically do something for me. That is my understanding. Do you think this works now? What's your answer? I created an XPath to locate Google search button. Question is, will this work for us? This is the XPath tag I created. Question is, will this work for us? Answer, friends. Please answer in the chat box. I know. Yes or no? Will this work or not? Even wrong, even if answer is wrong, no problem. Do you think this will work now? I created an XPath to locate Google search. I'm waiting for your answer. Answer yes or no. So I'm trying to give you very basic level of understanding on these XPaths first. Please give your answer, friends. I think I am almost fond of most of you these days because we are connecting every day. Okay. See, we don't need to hurry here. Let's check it. If this tag works or not, there is a way for you. Copy this, whichever you created this XPath. Come to this inspect. Okay. So this is Locating Gmail. Now what I want to locate Google search. So what you do? Right click, inspect, right? And then you can remove this. This is not needed here, right? And then you can say Control F for search. You should search in the, you have to search for your tags in the search, this search box. Where should we search your tags here in the in this inspect HTML code? We have to search here in the this search box. So here place your this thing, place your what is that XPath, and then press enter. And here are you able to see any hits for this? Is it recognizing anything here, any tag in this web elements? Is it recognizing anything? This XPath should locate your button, but unfortunately we don't see any of these findings here. If it's finding this Google search button, you see number of hits we have here. It shows 1, 2, 3. That number you can see. For example, you see here we tried to create an XPath for Gmail, right? See this. Now you paste it here. Observe carefully. Now, when I paste it here, immediately it's showing it is matching with one of these web elements. You can see one of one. But now, same thing. I choose this, copy this, and I paste here. And then when I paste here, you can see does it have any match? This XPath have any match in this web elements or with any of these tags inside this HTML code? I don't see any match. You can see here, it's not showing one of one or one of two or one of three or something. This itself shows that means uh, uh, what is the meaning of this, friends? Don't we have a Google search button in this website? Quick question. Don't we have a Google search button in this website? Answer is definitely we have a Google search button. Then I try to create an XPath, but I am not finding Google search. Means what? Is this website is a wrong website or is my XPath is wrong? What is your answer? Is website is totally bullshit or is my XPath wrong? So did I create a wrong XPath to locate this Google search button, or the website is created in a very this thing way, in a bad way? What's your answer, friends? Definitely website is good, right? XPath is wrong. Correct. What is it? XPath is wrong. Okay. So what should I do? What is the mistake I am doing for this XPath? Here, see here. So for Gmail, for this web element, the tag is anchor tag. So I started with A. For Google search, the tag starts with this. The tag is input tag. It is not anchor tag. What is the tag here? Input. Understand this carefully. Input tag. You know why I am spending time is because you need to get a clear idea. So in place of A tag, put here what is that, friends? Input. In place of A tag, you should pass input. Why should I pass input? Because this Google search button is inside input tag. So what is the start tag of this Google search button thing? Input. So you should not start with A, but you have to start with what? Input. Is that clear now? So now you copy this. Now you copy this, come to the search, this web element search here, and then paste it here. Okay, and then enter. Okay, just a minute. I think let me try it. We just missed this one. Now let's see this. Enter. Test equal to, maybe we'll do one thing. We'll copy from here and paste it here. Just sorry. Input // Okay, again, of course, this time there is a small issue here. Why I'm not able to get any hits here? Why it's not showing any matching here? Again, this is a learning for us. For Gmail, it is a straightforward. See, let us see. I'm giving you, I'm going very slowly. Only reason is to make sure you are clear, you so that you can do it yourself next time. Now, if you see here, when I pasted this, when I'm searching with this XPath tag for Gmail, it is automatically giving me a search here. You can see anchor text equal to something because this is a label. On label, generally it is text. So I am searching with text. This is fine. But for the same, if, if I am doing with this button, which one Google search button, see here, friends. Okay, I'm not finding hits. Why I'm not finding? Let me just show you. Why I'm not finding hits is because inside this button, all these are attributes. This class, this value, this Arial. This is the text again. Arial, label means text. Okay. But now to identify this Google search, instead of which one? Instead of this one text, I should use this value because on button this Google search is added as a value. Now I should get this value. To get this value, what do I do right now? I try to, so, and here value is an attribute here. What is this? And class is an attribute. Name is an attribute. Okay. Likewise, these are all attributes. To identify attributes, we apply something called at the rate here. Okay, let me just apply. Remove this text now. Don't apply this one. So at the rate, and then after that, what to identify attribute, I should apply value here. So value. When I say value, when I say value, immediately you can see now, friends, I got two matches. But earlier, you see here, if you directly put text here, right? So I don't find any matches. Why? Because for a button to identify this, this Google search has to be identified through attribute value. And to identify attributes in a tag, to identify attributes in a tag, how do you mention that in XPath? How do we mention in XPath? I'm just going very slow so that it's easy for you to recognize. Just remove this. If it is just a text, you can simply say text. But this is an attribute, any attribute. It's not just a value. Any attribute in the tag, if you want to identify that in the XPath tag, simply you should say at the rate. At the rate represents you are trying to create an XPath and locate a web element based on an attribute. Is that point clear? How you are trying to locate your web element based on an attribute associated in that tag, and then value equal to Google search. Now you see, as soon as I changed my search option here, instead of text, I just updated this to the value, at the rate value. You can see I found two matches. Earlier, when I am just searching as text, I didn't find any two matches. Why? Because this Google search is associated with a value here. So that's how we should, create an XPath based on value here. And as this is an attribute, you should apply at the rate. So now you can say I have searches. I mean, I have matchings here, two matchings. You can see one for what? You can see we have two different places. This tag is. So it is showing XPath is able to locate Google search button in two different places. So this is how, we should create different types of XPath with different types of tags. Is this clear now? So we have clearly understood one case here. What is that? How to create XPath. What if the web elements are having different types of tags? What is that? One is anchor tag. Sometimes this web elements will be associated with anchor tags. Sometimes this web elements will be input tags. Sometimes it will be some other formats. Okay. Let's say dot dot dot. Leave about it. Now, how do we create this XPath now? Based on the start of tag, we should choose that start one. And then based on the type, like are you choosing an attribute or are you choosing a plain text? So for validation, how you are doing the validation to create a XPath. So this is a simple validation. When you are creating a simple validation, if you are validating a simple text, simply use text method and compare it. But if you are trying to validate with an attribute, then what should we do? Our search, validation should be, our search process should be, we should apply at the rate. Wherever you see at the rate means you are trying to create an XPath and search for some web element using the attribute of that tag. here I am trying to use the attribute. What is that value? So I just applied here at the rate and then value equal to Google search. Now this will give me help me to locate this Google search inside this which one friends inside this website. So when I come and search here, this automatically locates wherever this Google search option is there. In all the places, it will show us this Google search button. Means it gives us matching all the matchings present in this website. Now when I try to search with this XPath, I have two matches here. If you see here in two different places, this is there, right? So that is a quick idea. Did you got match here or not? Yes. And that is how we should create this. What is that, friends? We have to create this XPath tags. So this is one case, one level. Next again. After that, next. What else? Now, again, understanding more of this what? Understanding more of locators. So if there are web elements, what are different ways we locate? We locate these web elements in a website. Right. One thing now we understood one way of identifying or locating your web elements is through XPath. We are seeing this, right? And there are few simple things here. Let me just show you. So here, different ways of now understanding a deeper thing here, a deeper idea of what are different locators we have here. See here. So now coming to this, we are trying to understand different types of locators. What is CSS? How to write it? What is XPath? How to write it? Let's see that now. So locator means what? First question one. What is a locator? By now you should be having some idea. Locator is something a tag or some kind of attribute or something in your website which helps you to find your web element. Locator, simply speaking, let us just simplify. Locator helps you to find your web element in your website. Web elements has some tags. Inside that tags, we can identify this web element through these locators. Locators means what, like for example, let me show you. By class name, you might have something like uh, one is by ID. Let us check for ID. You can see here, there are how many IDs here? 163 IDs are present in this website. So means this is a locator. ID is a locator. You can see here. ID is one locator. And how to find a web element based on ID? Simply we can say driver dot find element by ID. Suppose there is one more by class. Let us just apply class. Okay. When you say class, how many locators are there here? You can see when I just enter class, we have 421 locators, 421 matchings per class. Even class is a locator, right? So, and then third one, tag name. Tag name is, let us try to apply here something like tag. You can see here when I say tag, you are having some 6 matches here, right? I don't think this. Let me just apply tag name or tag. Both are just having similar match only. So when I say this, you can see here we have how many matches here? 6 matches. Means here what are all this means? This ID. See in your website. Are you following, friends? In your website, right? Let me this ID or this class or this tag. All this is what is that we call these are locators. And the purpose of locators is what, friends? Locators helps us to identify our web elements in the your this one HTML code. So here I think this is clear for all of you, right, friends? So here, for example, as I have already shown this example, see here, wherever you have ID, uh, maybe you can just simply search for a proper ID here. Let me show you a proper ID. Let me just show you, friends. Not HVID. You can see this is a proper. You can see here IDGB. This is an ID. This is a locator for this tag div. Similarly, these are proper locators, not like PID or everything. Again, see, you can see here for another tag, due tag, there is an ID GBW. Similarly, you can see here that not GBID. That is actually part of something. We don't, that is not actually a proper locator. I'll show you here. You can see here. Again, this is again for a dialog button somewhere. This is a locator. This ID is a locator, something like some text. Okay. So, but more than text, this is the locator ID. I think this is clear, right? Similarly, suppose you mention class here, right? When you mention class, see here we have 421 matches. We don't need all that. You can see class is a locator. Suppose if we want to locate something here, this particular tag, you can choose this one, copy this, right? And then just simply come to the code. So what do you do right now? Let's go come here to identify some particular class, tag. You can see here. So this one, you can simply say like I'm uncommenting this just to show you. So here I'm locating a web element based on what by class, by class name. Class name represents here we are recognizing this tag div based on this class, and that you have to copy the text, copy that, and then just come to the code, and you can choose this find element method. In that, by what you are finding class name, and you have to pass that text here. That will automatically what it does, friends. It will try to find the that it will find the web element based on that class name. What is that class name here? This one, L3EUGB, something like this. Okay, similarly, you can find your web element by ID. Similarly, you can find your web element by tag name. Okay, this is a quick idea about different locators we use in the to automate a website or to identify your web elements while automating your website. Is this clear, friends? Okay, this is fine. Now the question is, what is the question? So do you really think we depend on these locators? Means answer is we don't use much of these approaches. Okay, generally this is very rarely used and this is not that much used. We actually more dependent on XPaths. Okay, using XPath is the more used approach in automating a website, but these are not that much used these days. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing, let's move to the. I think you are clear right now. We had a clear idea about locators now. What does locator means? As the name says, locator is nothing but it is some kind of identifier which is used to identify a web element in this website. That is fine. Generally, this by ID or by class name or by tag name, all these are locators. Fine. But so do you think do we rely more on this kind of tags here? This kind of options means location options means this is not that much used these days. Okay, we can ignore this for now. Then the next more used popular approaches are CSS and XPath. What is it, friends? CSS selector and XPaths. Okay, fine. What is CSS now? Generally, right, you should have some idea about CSS. CSS is something, what shall I say? It's a kind of HTML now, which is used to apply some beautiness to your website. Fine. Now, if you want to apply CSS selector approach, what is that you do here? Let me just show you. Go to the website here. Now you see here, we identify CSS selector like this, like how. Let me take this one, inspect. Now here, I want to find this particular input tag. Okay, this Google search. Then what should I do? I have to start with a div tag first. So let me just show you how CSS should be created. Div. And whenever you want to try to create a CSS selector, then you should choose that start tag and then followed by this symbol. You can see there, greater symbol. Greater than. After div, what is that I should choose now? I should choose something like center. Okay, you can see here it is going to the center. After center, if I am choosing something like okay, let me just remove this, not like this. Suppose I want to go to the where should I come? This one button, right? Just a minute, friends. Where should I start? Div. and then div and then center and then input. So div and then div and then center and then input. So you can see here what it does is this is how we should create a CSS selector. And then just a minute, we have four options. Let's just see that. You can see here. So it is matching. It is giving us four matches. In that one match I am looking for, this is for Google search. You can see here. Right click and then when I say inspect, you can see I'm looking for Google search. Now, how did I try to locate this Google search with the CSS selector? So to apply this CSS selector, we have to apply a pattern like this. What is that pattern? Just observe this here. What is the pattern? This thing has started with div. Okay. So this is actually a sibling, same level, no problem. Just a minute. I think it is just having, okay, no problem. Okay, this is finding it. No issues. This acts as a parent one. So now you can see here now. You have to look for this, how these tags are created, right? Just inspect it. So you have input. Before that you have center. Before that you have a div, and before that you have some other parent. Now you are searching a pattern like this div and then div and then center and then input. This matches with this gave us four matches. For me, what is that? I have to locate which one here. I have to locate Google search thing. If I should locate Google search, I'm just checking how these tags are created. I have a div. Let me just remove this also, just for time being. Now press enter. Now to find this, what I am doing now, again I am just showing here inspect. I am just looking these three tags here. So how this Google search is is with the input tag. Input is in center. Center is in div. Now I am trying to find this. So how do I find this? This is the pattern I am creating for CSS selector. Let's start. So this is the first tag I have. So I applied div, and we have to apply arrow mark like this. Okay, greater arrow mark, and then next one. What is that next tag I should find here? Center. And then after that, what is that next tag I should find here? Input. Now search for it. When you say search, I have four elements with that pattern. And now you can see here, go one by one. So which one you need? So you don't need lucky now. What that is not need. This will also be a hit for us because both are in these input tags are in the same level. So it gives us a hit for that as well. But I don't need that. So let's go one by one now. First one. Do you need this one? This Google search one. So 1.1 is this. So no, because we have to go by div and then center and then another one is input. Here style is coming into the picture. So this is not my search. So I ignore this match. Next one. Second one, even this is also in the same this thing, same block. So we can ignore this. Now this is not my match. Third one. This is my match because when I click on this button, when I say inspect, and I came to this block. What is that? Div and center and input. So that is what I need to use here. So now this is the match I am looking for. So maybe you can ask me a question, Shiv Prabhu. How do you get this? I didn't get. I am not able to understand. The answer is simple. See, this is not difficult at all. Right click on your button, say inspect. When you say inspect, it is showing a block here. You don't worry about other this. There will be many tags, a tag inside tag. There will be parent and then grandparent, grandparent tags. Leave about that. But here in this you can see a pattern here. So when you choose, when you click on that and inspect, there is a block of code here, and it is this input is in a center and center is in a div. This is what you have to recognize the pattern. Now based on that, I just created a simple pattern with CSS selector. This is how you create a CSS selector. Okay, that is fine. So when I choose that and then when I search, I have four options. In that tab, so there are two options which didn't match my criteria. Of course, even though it is showing here, they are not needed for me. So I am ignoring those matches. So what I need, this is my exact match. What is that? The third one. I have a div, I have a center, and I have input. This is my match when I searched with button with inspect option. So this pattern is okay for me. Of course, when you have multiple options, multiple matches, again we have to we have to eliminate this duplicate or the multiple matches, and you should make sure that there is a unique match. For that, what we do, I'll show that in tomorrow's session because we are almost done with today. But I'll give you a clear idea on Monday's session, like if there are multiple matches like this. So this is not going to help us much because why? In a web page, you have to identify your web element in a unique way. It should be unique. It should not have multiple options. When you try to search for some web element, and if it is having multiple options, then it won't work at code level. Is that clear? So the question is now, when you have these many matches, how do you choose a specific and a proper match? So that is what we discuss in the Monday session. But this is how you should create a CSS selector, where you should start with the parent tag and then go to the child tag and then go to the subchild tag step by step like this. And then when you press enter, you have hits matches, and based on that, what you choose whichever match is important for you. And again, we know we should not have these many matches. You should have a unique match. To have that unique match, what do? You try to filter out applying certain again certain kind of patterns here. Is that clear? We need to filter out these matches and make sure that you have one single match, a unique match to identify your web element. Is that clear to you, all of you friends, or am I confusing you? Am I confusing you guys, or is that clear for all of you? This is how you should create your what is that, friends? CSS selector. Understood, friends? Am I confusing you, friends, or I think are you getting a clear idea like what is this approach of finding it? Okay. Actually, I didn't. I have gone very slow. This is so slow discussion because, yep, no problem. That's fine now. So this is about CSS selector, but we are not going much into this again. Why? Even this we don't use in 95 to 90 to 95 cases. We don't apply CSS selectors to identify your web element. Then which one we choose? XPath. XPath is the most popular one, friends. Okay, when you are doing automation, mastering the XPath is very important, and people ask you a lot of interview questions. Now, these are all interview questions only. When you go to an interview, people ask about XPath and they ask you what are different locators you have in XPath. Now, I think you can answer this. Can you answer this question now? Based on today's session, just give me a few examples of XPath locators. Can you answer in the chat box, please? This is an interview question. Now you can answer it. What are different types of locators we use with the XPath or this find element tag? And please answer in the chat box. What locators we use here? Locators. Locators means ID, class, and then one more is what? Tag name. Remember, right? ID, class, tag name. I had discussed that. Yeah, even value is a locator. Yes, no problem. Okay, that is an attribute, of course. Even that is helps you to locate something. Yes. Got it, friends? And then what is CSS selector here? It is also used to identify your web element. And how do you follow that? It applies this kind of pattern. Right? What is that? It starts from parent to subchild to child and subchild, and it goes like this. Okay. Now see here now. So means what? If you want to apply a CSS selector, and then if you want to find some web element, then you have to go in a sequential way. What is that? You can see here, friends. Sequential means you should start with the div, and then go to this enter, go to the input. We have to go tag by tag. We cannot dynamically jump this. We cannot dynamically jump. Suppose I made some change. All of a sudden, I moved this button from here to somewhere else, friends. From here, I move to some right corner or left corner or somewhere. Automatically, that positioning of that tags changes. Okay, parents and child association changes. Got it, friends? In such cases, what again CSS, when I apply this kind of pattern, when I just shuffle this web elements in the web page, when we shuffle this web elements in the web page, then this pattern doesn't work for us. Which pattern doesn't work? Now, in this case, if I want to locate this Google search button through CSS selector, what I am doing, I am creating a pattern, and using this pattern, I am able to find this Google search button. Suppose, all of a sudden there is a requirement from the client that you should now place this button from here and put it at the top. Just a namesake I'm saying, friends. Anyhow, that is not meaningful. Just giving an idea. I don't want this button. I want at the beginning. Or I don't want this button in the middle. I want at the right side somewhere. So somewhere at the at the deep bottom, I want this button. In such cases, what automatically this web tags will get shuffled. And when tags get shuffled like this, when you try to shuffle your web elements, at the same time, internally, all these tags will be moved or they get shuffled. In such cases, this pattern is not going to work for us. Is that clear? There are a couple of things about CSS selector. Point one, you can apply a CSS selector and recognize or locate your web elements. That is fine. Point two, so when you are applying a CSS selector, you have to locate a web element by moving sequentially from parent to child tags, and finally you come to the actual tag. So here we have to traverse across the tags in a sequential way. That is point two. Point three. Suppose if you do some shuffling, if you make some random changes to your website, then what? This CSS pattern is not going to help you. Again, you have to recreate your CSS pattern. In that case, again, what is that point three? If any changes happens to the your website and if any shuffling happens to the web elements, then in that case, what is this? This CSS selector pattern is not going to help us. So point three means what? This is not much reliable to us. The CSS selector pattern is much reliable when you are doing some shuffling, all that. Is that clear, friends? That's it. So that is a quick idea about CSS selector. Then the next question comes here is what, friends? Yeah, you might ask a question. Then in such case, what should I do, Manora? Okay. In such case, better we just jump to or we use this XPath. In all these unreliable cases, in all these unreliable these things, situations, what do? XPath is the best possible solution. So when you use XPath, you just shuffle your web elements to any place. XPath is going to identify it, without any difficulty. So that is the simple idea. I hope this is clear for all of you. So let me summarize today's session. You can see here. This is a quick difference between CSS selector and XPath. And again, people ask a lot of interview questions, a lot of questions in interview regarding this CSS selector and XPath. What is that? So one thing, so here CSS selector has to traverse through all elements. That is point one. I think this we have practically observed that in the website now, and we have seen how to locate a web element by applying a CSS selector. Right, that is one thing. So if you want to identify some element, what is that you should do here, friends? You have to traverse through all elements. That is point one. Okay. Second thing. If it is XPath, what? No need to traverse through all elements. That is the advantage with XPath. Second thing, very fast when searching an element. Suppose this is a website. You are doing some search. Okay. Doing some ABC, something like this. So CSS selectors are used, are very fast when you are doing the search operations. But here, which one? XPath takes longer than CSS. Longer than CSS in sense it doesn't take minutes or hours here. Okay, friends. It just takes a little milliseconds extra than this CSS search. Okay, but that doesn't have big difference. You usually don't notice that difference. Got it, friends. So that's the one more difference. So this is very fast when you are doing searching for an element, but here this is little slow, which is little slow. XPath is little slow when you are trying to search for some element in the that websites. I think this is clear, but that you don't see that difference. You might feel same for both. So in that way, we cannot say that this is a big drawback for XPath. Okay, again. So next one, third one, less reliable. Why less reliable? If you change, just shuffle this web elements, then what is that? This pattern of this searching elements changes. This has to change. So that's why if we have any change in the website, your CSS selector pattern should change. So this is not reliable. But which is reliable? Your XPath is more reliable here. So when you apply XPath, you don't need to make much changes. In that way, this is more reliable than CSS selector. So this is all about a quick difference between CSS selectors and XPaths. Anyhow, we'll talk more and more in Monday's session about XPath. We are going to cover many scenarios about the terminology of XPath. Okay, different types of XPath what we have, because these are all important for you in interviews, friends. See, this is the tree of your web page and different tag terminologies. And then after that, we are going to talk about types of exports. And then we see a lot of scenarios like, there are so many scenarios like, how to find this this web elements based on this XPath, different XPath tags, applying attribute search. So that is one thing. Second thing, following sibling is one kind of XPath, this thing. And then traversing, how do you traverse to a parent? And then there are different scenarios here. So we talk about, and also XPath hierarchy. So we talk about this in the Monday. This is very important session. And then there are so many interview questions which are being targeted on these areas. So understanding these things is very important, friends. Is that clear to all of you? So that's it, friends. We have something calling web object model page objects locator. Yeah, that is also fine, Shankar. All of you are good with this, friends? Good with this? Right. Got clarity here? Kishore or Harika and then Santoshi. All of you are clear on this, right? So this should be
Yes.
yep, sure. So next Monday session will give a more deeper insight about all this. Okay, especially on XPath, we are going to cover a lot of things here. See, this itself helps you to have get a more and more understanding on this. What is this automating website and locating this multiple these things through XPath. I hope you are clear now. Finally, a last quick conclusion question. Among all these locators, which is the best thing we can choose to locate your web element? Which is the best locator we choose to locate a web element in a website? Answer. Please answer in the chat box. We have multiple locators, right? So now you know what are different locators. Please answer in the chat box. We have multiple locators. Which is the best locator used to identify a web element? Please answer in chat. If you answer, you remember it. That is the only advantage you have, friends. I'll ask few questions before we close this session today. This helps you to summarize what understanding you have. Okay. Next one. See, all these are locators. XPath is the best locator here. So answer is simple, XPath. Right. Next one. How many locators we have discussed in today's session? So there are different. Give at least some 4 or 5 locators we can use to identify web element. Means what's your answer? We almost use 5 locators, right? ID, class, and then tag name. Today we had discussed at least 5. We might have a little more than that. Class ID tag and then CSS selector and then XPath. These are 4 or 5 different types of locators we had discussed today. XPath and CSS selector is also a locator. People ask this in interviews. Okay, you might face so many interview questions when you attend this. Okay, friends. Next one quick question. What is the quick difference between XPath and CSS selector? XPath does a sequential search. It goes from parent to child tag, child to actual tag, something like that. It is actually a sequential. It traverses in a sequential way. But XPath is dynamic. You don't need to traverse from tag to tag. Okay, not needed. And which is reliable among XPath and CSS selector? Which is reliable? Which is most trustable locator? Which is most trustable locator, friends? Reliable one is XPath only, which is having among a CSS and XPath, which is fast in search, which is having a which is fast with search among CSS and XPath, which is fast. CSS definitely, right? I hope you got a clarity. And also I'll ask a few more questions, sir. So suppose you don't have any knowledge based on today's session, when you are creating XPath, how do you choose to create XPath? Different ways of choosing. So do you think all XPath tags should start with A, something like A? Question is this. Will all XPath tags starts with something like //A? Let me just show you like this. See, because this understanding is important, friends. Then automatically you don't see any difficulty. Do you think all XPath tags should start with A? Okay, answer is no. Perfect. So how do you decide how your XPath tag should start? If it should start with A, or if it should start with input, or if it should different types of HTML tags are there. Let me just input tag or something, right? Let us just check that. Different types of HTML tags. Now you can see here. Let me just show you. This is a quick. We are done for today. No problem. You can see here, friends. These are all the tags. Suppose if your tag starts with these are all. No, we only discussed today about a anchor tag and then somewhere you can find input. Go to the I. These are all tags. Somewhere you can find input, friends. G I. You can see here input. But again, you have an image tag. Suppose you want to check first. You want to search for some image. Then your XPath has to be /img. Suppose you are searching for some kind of thing, web element inside your website. Image to search for image, we use image tag. Similarly, suppose if you see for some, if you are searching for any link, then you should say //link like this. I think you are clear now, right? This should give you a clear idea. It's not just we just say we just start with A, or we just start with the input, or we just start with the link or image. It depends on the kind of web element you are trying to locate in the web page. And that web element has some tag. And that start of the tag we should mention in the XPath search. Is this clear for you now? Understood now, friends? It's not just input or A, because we have only discussed today about input tag and A tag, anchor tag. But it's not like that. There are so many tags in HTML page. And while creating XPath depends on the which web element you are trying to locate. Those tags must appear in your XPath this thing. Clear now? You can call them as objects, no issues. Okay. So all these are objects only, right? No issues. You are talking about DOM model. document object oriented this one model. But it's so because I didn't introduce the terminology because it might confuse who are just starting here. That's why, Shankar. Okay. Yes, you can call them as objects. See, all this HTML, all this implicitly has this DOM model, and XPath is more of related to XML kind of this thing. So this XML internally uses a DOM concept. Got it right? So that's it, friends. So this is for today. Monday will be a more deeper and a clear way of understanding all this XPath. Don't miss that session, please. And thank you, friends. We'll catch up on Monday. Have a good weekend.